Hello everyone, it's the original Animaker here today, and I am Annie. So today I want to do a comparison between 310A and VSeeFace. We're gonna talk in depth about both programs. Just because I may recommend one program doesn't mean that it's the best for you. This isn't necessarily a review. Well, actually, this is kind of a review on both programs, but it's also an in-depth tutorial and overview of both programs. Keep in mind that I am not an expert on each program. I've only been VTubing for a very little while now, and I've gotten to know the features of both, and I thought if I made a video on it, it would be really helpful for people in the future. I've actually gotten a lot of questions about the software I'm using and how my software can actually track my facial expressions. For example, look, I'm smiling. Now I'm super happy. So yeah, this is me angry, sad, and neutral. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot one of my favorite ones. Shock. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the differences. Get ready. 310A is a software that's made by a legit publisher named Plus Co Ltd, which is a Japanese company. A lot of the instructions on the website and on the actual program itself are in Japanese. But not to fear, because there's actually an option for you to change the program into English. But there does tend to be a lot of, let's say, typos with the translation. Now, keep in mind that 310A has a free and a pro version, and VSeeFace is completely free. So I am only going to be going over the free version of 310A and of course VSeeFace. For the most part, I also have only used the free program of 310A, so I actually don't know too much about the pro features. VSeeFace is actually developed by two individuals, Emiliana and Deet. Deet is a VTuber and Emiliana is as well. You can download 310A on Steam or on the 310A website. And then for VSeeFace, even though they do have a website, currently you can only download VSeeFace from Deet's Discord. All of this I'll of course link in the description. Now we are in 310A. Oop, Nikki. Right. Oh, I'm not trying to zoom up there. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna keep the camera up here because Annie at this point still doesn't have clothes. Whoops. Now the first time you open up 310A, you're not gonna of course get me. You're gonna get some random model. And everyone's gonna be like, well, how do I input my own model? We will get there. Alright, so even though I want to go in order for each tab, the first thing you will have to know is how do you even know what's going on, because it's probably all in Japanese. So here's the settings button. You want to go to change settings, system, and no matter what language this is in, this is going to look the same. So like, even if this was in Japanese, you can see basically you'd want to go to this tab over here, and then you would want to press this, and then you want to press the second one down. That's English. I'll let you see it again in Japanese. English right here. Cool. Another thing I'm going to go over now is how to even add in your own avatar. So right here, the 1, 2, 3, 4th thing down to your left, if you press new avatar registration, this is how you get your avatar in. You can also download and upload to VRoid Hub, which is great. Basically you just click this and then you'd be able to go into your folders for wherever your VRM is from. And yes, it also supports custom made models. So if you made your own model in Mudbox or Blender, you can put it into 3Teen after you've run it through Unity and it has all the correct bones. This has to do with like FBXs and stuff like that, but there's lots of tutorials on how to change a custom made mesh and model into a VRM. As long as you have it as a VRM file and it's rigged correctly, you'll be able to use it in 310A without any problems. I want to go tab by tab for 310A. Of course, I will have markers for each part in the video in the description and whatnot. I don't know why I keep moving around the camera like a dumb butt. So here you have the facial expressions. You can do a neutral and you can see that does nothing because you're already in neutral. Then you can do angry, sorrow, fun, joy. You can blink left, blink right, mouth ah, I, ooh, e. Oh, you can look up. Yeah, this stuff is not working for me right now, but I will tell you why. Okay, so this button right here, open shortcut. If you press open shortcut, you'll be able to open up your shortcuts. Now let's just talk about this tab for a sec. You can already see it has key position, keyboard, gamepad. So a cool thing about 310A is that you can actually plug in any kind of MIDI device, a controller as well, but literally any kind of MIDI device, and use it as a key binding for a specific emotion or animation. So I don't have this set up yet, but you can see you have reset camera position here, but mostly this tab is gonna be for all of your like poses and animation. So you can see I have some of them set up. The way you set it up is you're gonna want to click whatever you want to set it up, and then you want to press the key, whichever one you want to use. It doesn't take things like using 2 keys. So for example, if I try to do Shift A, you can see that it just picked up left shift, but it doesn't have Shift A because it only lets you press 1 key. If you want to use Shift A because you don't want to use A for something, I just recommend using a MIDI device because it's not gonna work here. If I press A, I'll be angry. If I press A again, it'll take me back to neutral. And none of this is default. This is all stuff I set up myself, okay? So that is the expression tab, all right? Now, move the avatar in motion. So here where you can see we can have our default pose, so nothing's happening, but you can put your avatar in different poses. Now unfortunately I can't show these poses because, you know, we naked. Nobody talks about this and I don't know why. I need to look for it. Where is it? Look back. Ooh, she looking back. In yellow we have animations, so I can make her stretch. So here she is, she's twisting. These ones are really popular, the speech ones, the speech 2 and stuff like that for speaking. So there's a bunch of pre-made animations and whatnot. But what if I want to use my own animations? Well, I will show you how. Right here, open motion folder. This is something you would only use if you know how to use things like Blender and any modeling and animation softwares. So yeah, if you don't know BVH file and SCII files and FBX files, I would recommend that you just kind of stay away from this. If you want to learn, then that's great. There actually is a lot of talented VTubers and just other people in general who know how to do these things like animate and whatnot. But for the most part, this is how you would put in your own animations and poses. After you do that, you would press update behavior and you would have the animations here. Oh yeah, there's also this. You can also open the shortcut for this and it will take you to the same shortcut 2 folder because like I said before, this is where all of your poses and animations are. Quick tidbit. Some of the names of the poses and animations are different than from the shortcut than from this move avatar in motion folder or the facial expression. And I think again that just has to do with the fact that there's like problems with translating English from Japanese. So that was the move avatar in motion. display effect. This is really cool, so you can do different effects with this. Again, I don't want to zoom out too much because of the fact that she is naked, but this is one of my favorites, poison gas. You can pick different effects. It says multiple effect editing mode. So what you can do with this is you can kind of set up different effects to play at every single time. So if I press create new group, this is what I meant with everything being in Japanese. Don't worry about that. Just rename it to something in English. Rename group. Once you have a group, you can then go to effect editing and you can add different effects. So I'm gonna add poisonous gas. I'm gonna add maybe this explosion, and you can see this little thing popped up right here. You can actually put a different place for it to happen. So I'm gonna move this up a little bit, and then actually up a lot, so you guys might be able to see the difference when I'm so zoomed in. And then you can also change the start time of it. So this has a 1 second offset, and then for this we're gonna make it stay exactly the same. And now if I press group update and I press execution, both effects will happen, but with the set parameters we have. So that's really cool. And you can also set shortcuts for this as well. So if I press open shortcut, you can see now we're on shortcut 1, which has different types of things like camera angles and effects and whatnot. So this is really cool right here. And it has one for your groups, 5 groups, as you can see. So I don't need this, so we're gonna go ahead and delete this, and I'm gonna go to effect editing again, and you can see the reason why it's not working here is because we don't have any groups selected. So make sure you have a group selected, and also be careful not to delete your groups because it can be kind of hard to figure out at first. Let's go over the save scene camera angles. The way how this works, if I have a different camera angle, I'm gonna pick this one. It's super dumb, I know, but if I have a different camera angle, I can then add this angle to the list. If I press read, it will go to that camera angle automatically. Now I'm gonna pick this one and I'm gonna press add. So now if I press read, it'll go to that. If I press read again, it'll go to the other one. Alright, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the default position. I kind of like this one, so we're gonna add this one too. So as you can see, I have a bunch of camera angles up under here. Okay, so when you're trying to play through them, it's really easy, but what if you don't want them in this order? No problem, you can just move them around by pressing up or under. Pretty fun. Also, if you have one of them selected and you change your angle and then you press update, you can see now that it did in fact change the angle that I had before to the angle that I have now. So be careful with that. You can also change the name. You can see all this is in Japanese right now. A cool thing that you can do, you can select any of these camera angles and load them at the startup so that you don't always have to find the camera angle that you usually use. This is great if you're a regular 310A user and you use it regularly for either pictures or for making videos, because then all of your videos would probably be consistent. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete. Yes, delete. Okay, so now we're gonna go to set background. This is one of the most powerful things about 310A. So they have their own standard background. It does have a sun and like lighting, and look, there's my shadow. Okay, sexy shadow. You can also put your own custom color. OBS, I've noticed, picks up this for chroma keying really well. It has blue and green automatically. So I'll give you an example. As you can see right now, I have it set to green. Put a filter on OBS for chroma key. It's gone, and now I'm floating. If I remove my background, wait, there you can see it's black. Any kind of image will work, like anything. If you like your settings, like the background you have, you can press restore background on startup. You can do transparent background as well. This is great for taking PNGs. So if you want a nice sunny sun or, you know, a sexy shadow, there is a way to do that. This tab called other than avatar place a 3D object will let you basically import any 3D object. Now I haven't tested this out myself too much, but from what I've seen in forums, I can say it works. I just personally haven't done it because I'm not really that good at 3D modeling yet. You can make and import your own, as well as dynamics for like lighting and shadows and stuff like that. This is an example of stuff that's in Japanese and you just don't know what's going on. You can also save groups for these different types of settings. And cool thing, if you check this paste an object to a body part, once you get it loaded in, you can actually then pin a certain thing to a body part. So if you press this, it will let you take quick screenshots. This is great for taking PNGs. And this lets you make recording of videos. And now the part that most people are probably going to skip to, face tracking. So if you press face tracking, you'll see 3 options. This option, audio recording, might be different for you, but let's go through each one. So face tracking can be done with your webcam. If you press start, it might take a little while. Oof, there we are, we're face tracking. We are face tracking. If we now press audio lip sync, you can see that it's now tracking my mouth movements by using my microphone. And also, if I move my body, it will track my body movements if I press the body operation. It doesn't track me going up or down though. It really only tracks me going side to side. And the reason why, if you use this in real life and you zoom out, you'll see that the rotation point is basically at your pelvis. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off body operation. Alright, so if your character is doing this weird thing, there's a really easy way to fix that. You press make avatar adjustments, and you can see we're at face, and you press reset camera position. Okay, now you can see that we're kind of... What is she doing? Wait, stop moving. I had better face tracking last time. So let's go ahead and go over this tab for a little bit. So if her head is moving too much or not moving enough, you can change the head reaction here. I don't want to change any of my settings because I want you all to see what it looks like when I actually did have it working. Right now I know it's not the best, but you can even change your blink sensitivity. So if you want, 310A can actually track your blinks. I just have it set on automatic blink. And here's another cool thing. So you can see that when I move to the left or the right, it's actually doing that at my avatar. But if I have it set to synchro, when I move to the left now, it will actually be moving the other way. So you can see I also have this track make regular blinks at intervals and whatnot. Here's what I was talking about before with the facial expression. If I uncheck looking at camera, you can see now I'm not always looking at the camera. But when I go to facial expression and I want her to look right, she'll do it now because the eyes are not fixed on the camera. So let's go ahead and go to settings. My avatar operation method is face recognition only. If you have the free version of 310A, you will only have this option here and leap motion. If you have a leap motion, then you can also track things like your hands and stuff like that. I don't have one, so I'm not going to be doing that. We're going to go ahead and turn this off. Here you can pick your camera. So if for whatever reason your face is not being tracked, then you can choose a different kind of camera. So for example, this is a virtual camera I have installed on my computer, and if you're not moving, it's probably because you're just not using the right webcam. So change it up here. You want your webcam startup time to be as low as possible to avoid issues. Now here is where we select the lip sync type. So right now I have an audio recording, but if I change it to face recognition and make sure of course that you have the right mic selected and that this is as low as possible, then when I go to face tracking and I turn on lip sync, it's now going to track my mouth with it's now going to track my face with my mouth. So the reason why I was having so much trouble beforehand is because I didn't have my light on. It couldn't see me. even though I already have a light on, but I have another light in front of me that kind of acts like a ring light, and that is what is helping it to actually track my face. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this back to audio recording. You can actually see that the lip sync for audio recording is a lot better than it is for face tracking. So I would just recommend that you use audio recording for lip sync. Turn that off. Okay. Then you have other settings. This body settings. So this use standby behavior. This, if you're not using 310A for anything, then it'll make your avatar start doing certain things. Like for example, they'll do the stretch animation, and you can change it to these different things here. And it says interval of standby operation, which basically means how long unattended until they start doing it. This is all leap motion settings, which again I can't really go over because I don't have a leap motion, so I don't really know too much about it. But if you do have a leap motion and you want to know more, don't worry, there is a way for you to read all of this stuff online. And then we have other. So here you can actually see what avatar you're using and what the permissions are. This is useful if you downloaded something from like Vroid Hub, because they'll have specific information on there, whether you're allowed to use this in stuff like VR chat, and if you're allowed to use it for personal use like VTubing and stuff like that, or whether you're not. This is just fun camera stuff, so you can see I can make your like really red, and that doesn't really do much, but it's there if you ever want to use it. Lighting, your shadow. You can also change your outline, which is kind of cool. So I would say just play around with all these settings until you see what you want. Woo! So that is the adjust avatar settings. Now we'll go to change settings. So here's the original settings that we went to when we were looking at how to change it to English. Let's go to system. You can also change the resolution of your window. The highest that 310A has is 1600 by 900 in the free version. In the pro version, you can actually go higher. And you can change it whether you want full screen or windowed. If you want to know, I am running it windowed right now. And you can change the quality of it as well. This is what you're gonna need for when you're recording. You're gonna need to hide your menu bar, because if you don't hide your menu bar, or if you don't cut it out in OBS, then this will be showing when you're recording, which is not fun. And the same thing, if you just don't want anything to show when you hover over it, like for example, you can see now it shows the name of this. If you don't want that, you can turn that off. So I don't recommend this, because if you're recording this recording behavior, play microphone input, if you're recording and you have like 2 or 3 different sources of monitoring your audio, you're gonna probably get some screeches or some echoes. If you have no other way of monitoring your voice and you really want to, you can use this option. All you have to do is tick it, and then it'll start monitoring your voice. Like, you'll be able to hear your voice basically. So if you don't have VSync, it's probably not going to be on, but if you do have VSync and for whatever reason it's not working, you're going to want it to be here. And if you want to know what your FPS is, you can have that there. It's nice little 60 for you. You can also change the mode to this. If you have a leap motion, then you'll be able to change the settings, but you can see when I click, nothing happens because I don't have a leap motion. Now, light source, you can change what kind of light you have. You can also turn off the light. I actually think 310A has a pretty good dark right here compared to Vroid, because if you try to make it dark in Vroid, it's like just black. You can also change your direction of lighting. I'm not gonna change that. You can change the color of the light, so you know, everything pink, because we like pink. You can also change the shadow you have. This is a hard shadow, little Minecraft sexy shadow. This is your soft shadow, and this is your no shadow, no sexy shadow. If you turn that off, there'll be no shadow on the floor. Now we go to camera settings. Cool. If you have other things in your scene, you can actually put the camera to follow that thing. You can also change the way it follows it by using these two. It's really stuff you'd only use if you're inputting your own assets. If you want to change the field of view, you can do that as well. You can also change the style of it, because with 310A Pro you can actually use things like live 2D and whatnot. So this is really important. And after you take if you want to take a quick photo or a quick video, you can have it saved to two different places, and then here it's gonna show all of your info. So your version of 310A, you can press check version here to see if there's an update you need. You can also see your specs and your web camera. So that was the settings. Okay, so next, another important thing is the camera settings. As you can see, when I clicked that, all it did was reset the camera position to the original position you have when you first open up 310A. Let's show you guys how to move the camera. Right click, you can pan the camera. Pressing the scroll wheel doesn't do anything, and pressing left mouse doesn't do anything, but you can scroll in and out. The only way to rotate and stuff is you have to press this button every single time, which is kind of annoying a little bit in order to be able to do certain things. So now if I right click, I can rotate the camera. I can still zoom in and out, but pressing zoom and that doesn't really do anything for me. So that's the camera controls. If you want to be able to see how your face is being tracked, you would press this. This is for when you have a leap motion. And here's our very last thing. Open description site in your browser. This is your full-on manual for 310A. So when you click that, you're actually going to be taken to a website. So this is the window that I was brought to. I'm using Google Chrome, so it will translate it for me, but if you don't have anything to translate it, all of this will be in Japanese. So you're either gonna have to like click everything and then go to like translate, or like, I don't know, get an extension or something. But this is the full-on manual for the free version of 310A and the pro version of 310A, and you can see plus live 2D. So the pro version of 310A also lets you use live 2D models, which is great, and it really has absolutely anything that you would need. It has all the settings, everything is here. So if you have further questions that you cannot find on the 310A web forums or through this video or just through asking me, I definitely recommend checking out this. So this is what you get when you open up VSeeFace. As you can see, it's really simple to add your avatar. You just press add avatar, and then you will look for the file that you need to find. It supports VRM files only. You can see it is made by Emiliana. You can find their Twitter right here, the YouTube, the GitHub, which is kind of like the download to the VSeeFace, and a bunch of other information. You can also select your camera here. So VSeeFace camera is a virtual webcam that you can use on your system, which will enable you to use your avatar for many different things like Zoom calls or Skype, pretty much anything that would use a webcam application instead of using a game capture, so you can see VSeeFace, so you can use it that way. And then network tracking would be if you have a multi-PC setup and you want to track on a different computer. You can also set your camera width and height. It starts off, I believe, as a default as 1080p, but I changed mine to 1280 by 720 because of the fact that I'm scaling it down in OBS, and because of the fact that I really just didn't need it to be that big. Also, you can change your camera frame rate. Here you can pick the microphone that you're using, which I highly suggest you do, and you can pick the tracking. I lowered mine a little bit for streaming just so it has less of a effect on my PC, but since I'm just recording right now, I'm going to change it back to high quality. And I know I have this blurred out because, you know, Annie Nakey, but like you'll see the title of your VRM, you'll see the Arthur, you will see the base version, and you'll see anything else basically you put down when you're making your avatar. And then if you don't want to use an avatar anymore, you can press remove avatar here. So start, and here we are. Now it automatically will start working. Emiliana recommend that you move your face a little bit in the beginning so that it tracks you really well. And you can already see that the face tracking for me is really great. Automatically, the settings are set for you to have webcam tracking for mouth movements and face movements and for blinking as well. So if I blink right now, it actually tracked that. So watch, I'm just not gonna blink. Blink. So yeah, it actually tracks it really well, which is why I really like it. Another cool thing about VSeeFace, actually, if you can see, I'm moving to the left and it tracks me that way. It tracks my whole body, actually. Not my whole body, but it tracks the upper half of your body very realistically. Where in 3T, I was kind of just pinned. And if I actually get up from my chair a little bit, it follows me. And you saw those blue bars show up. The blue bars basically mean that you're going out of the field of view for your camera. So if I move to the left, you can see that I got the blue bar to the left because it's telling me, hey, I won't be able to see you anymore. So you can see it showed up for the bottom and the right side because, yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over the settings. So here you see you have avatar selection. So if you want to quickly change your avatar, you can do that here. Show settings. If you click on effect settings, this will help you to make your avatar look nicer. The only thing I have it on is anti-aliasing, which if your avatar looks really grainy at first, turn this on and I promise you they'll look really smooth, just like me. We go to expression settings. If you don't want to enable it, like your eye blinking, you can turn that off. So if I turn that off, every time I blink, it's not blinking. She will never blink. And enable mouth animation is the same thing. Enable brow animation is the same thing. You can see I can raise my eyebrows and it works. Ready? And I'm not pressing any hotkeys. This is literally just VSeeFace tracking my face with my laptop. I don't have like a super big computer or anything. So if you want the hotkeys to work, then you just set these up. Each of these settings is set for different expressions. So if I don't want myself to blink when I'm neutral, then I can turn that off. If I don't want that to happen when I'm having fun, I can turn that off. So I'm turning off eye blinking for joy, so now that my eyes won't clip through my through my eyes. So you can see that helped a lot. So you can do that for every single expression here. So yeah, if you want a hotkey for each expression, you can set that all up here. So let's go through light settings. Here you can change the color of your lighting to whatever you want. So I'm gonna make this pink and then I'm gonna move this over here. Now you can see it actually worked. So I'm gonna change it back to F. You can actually change it from sun and ambient. If you have a leap motion, then you can go into leap motion settings. I don't have one, so I'm not gonna go over it. I'm sorry. Now we have general settings. So this is where if you don't want it to track your blinks and you want your character to auto blink, then you can turn that on. If you don't want it to link your eye blinks, that means you can do like things like wink and stuff. So I'll turn that off. And now I can kind of close my other eye. But now it's not tracking my eye blinks one at a time. I mean, it's closing them one at a time. It's not tracking them together. I'm gonna turn that back on. So this synthetic gaze, follow head movement. So if I turn on synthetic gaze, you can actually make it so that your character is basically always looking at the camera. If your avatar gets stuck, just wiggle your head a little bit so that it can recalibrate and get used to use. Audio lip sync hotkey. This is where if I turn this off, it's gonna start trying to track my lips by using the camera. The lip sync for the camera is actually really good. It just doesn't work for me because I have a giant microphone and pop filter in front of my face. Since I'm using a mic, it's just way better for me to just use the audio lip sync. You can see it's so much more snappier. Always use full lip sync animation. So if you don't always want it to be moving exactly with your words, you can turn that off, and now you'll kind of see more of like it going blah 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 instead of me actually saying the vowels, I'm just going blah blah blah. If I turn it back on, you can see that my mouth actually makes the shapes. Hybrid lip sync / mouse tracking. So what this means is that if you want it to track your mouth also with the web camera and the sound, then you can turn that on. So now I have that off. But what happens if I still want to smile? Mirror image while UI hidden with this button. This button it's talking about is this one over here. This is what hides the UI. So when you're recording, if you use a game capture just like you would with Routine. So you can see when I press that, this is the way how you would record things in OBS, and you would have no problem recording it. In order for OBS to be able to properly have a transparent background, you're gonna have to go into the properties of your sources, and then you're gonna have to check the box that says enable or allow transparency. Once you do that, then in OBS, basically all the gray part will be gone. And if that doesn't work, they also have other solutions that you can use as well on the VSeeFace website. Default camera position. So if you don't want it to have the default camera position it always has, you can choose it to something they have that's called closer, or you can pick your own custom camera position. Right here, face tracking. So if you don't want it to track your face, and you want less CPU usage, you can turn that on and off. So expression detection, you can turn on none, or you can turn on simple, which means you'd only have fun, angry, and surprise. With this experimental one, I have a few more expressions available to me, which are all of these right here, so that you'd also have of course joy and sorrow. Okay, graphic settings. Allow window resizing. So if for whatever reason you need to make this like bigger, this will allow you so that you can move your window around. And this is your anti-aliasing feature. If it's not smooth enough for you, you can change it, and you can change your resolution here. So right here you can turn on VSeek if you wish, or you can cap your frame rate. So device settings, if your face tracking is not working and whatnot because you chose the wrong camera, this is something you can fix in general settings. You can see you can change the camera you're using and the microphone. So now here comes the really cool part about VSeeFace is the virtual camera. So if you want to use the virtual camera, even just for OBS, because for whatever reason the game capture is not, or any other method's not working for you, the virtual camera works well as well. I've used it. Advanced, less mesh update, may make parts of the avatar disappear faster with many meshes. This is all stuff like where if you use older version of VSeeFace, or if it's just not working for you with this version, you can check these settings. Now let's go to the left side of this. This will let you change your field of view. Your blink sensitivity will let you change how well it tracks your blink movements. Same thing for your gaze strength and your gaze sensitivity. Yeah, these are all just stuff that you can really just fiddle around with. So lip sync audio override gain. So like if you're listening to yourself and you want to, you can turn that up. You can even change how stiff your body is. So if you don't want your avatar moving every time you move like I do, even though I enjoy the least stiffness, but if you for whatever reason just don't want your character moving around like this, you can turn that down or up to make it move more or make it move less. And here if you press show tracking points, this is so that you can see how VSeeFace is tracking your face if you need to fix anything. Again, all of this is on their website and the Discord to help you out with these things. And then if you're having a real tough time, you mess something up in the settings and you're gonna have to start from scratch again, there's a factory reset right here. Show help. So pressing show help will show you all of your hotkeys that you can see. The global hotkeys, which basically is how you will make yourself do certain expressions. Again, if you're playing a game, the thing with 310A, if 310A isn't selected, you can't actually make it do these facial expressions. This is basically just going over a lot of the things that I went over. And then there's the calibration of your face. So actually calibrating your facial expressions is really easy. All you have to do, I don't want to do it now because I literally have like the perfect settings, as you can tell. But basically what you would do is you would click whichever expression you're ready to record. So let's say we want to do neutral, so I'd click neutral and then try not to talk at first, just let it do its thing. So while not talking like me, you just move your head back and forth very slowly so that it can calibrate what your face looks like when you're neutral. And I also recommend looking up, because from time to time you may want to look up, from time to time you may want to look down. And after doing that, I then start talking very slowly, or really at normal pace if you want. And then I do it one more time without talking, basically. And after you're done with that, you would basically hit it again, and then you can go through each single one of these. At the end, you can press calibrate. You can also calibrate after each one. After you're done calibrating, before you close, it might ask to save your calibration settings. In that case, you can then load it with this, load calibration, and input the file that you had beforehand. Also, if you mess up during your calibration, you can hit clear in order to redo it. Also, you can save your calibrations. Now, if you find that your model is just in a really weird position or whatever, you can actually hit reset position, and now you can see I'm looking straight. I usually have this on mirror motion. So for you, it will probably look like this, and what that means, when I move to the left now, on screen to me, it looks like she is moving to the right. Yeah, so if I press mirror motion, that just means now when I go to the left, she'll go to the left on screen. If I go to the right, she'll go to the right on screen. Drift back to normal basically means that when you move, it'll try to make it so that your character doesn't go all the way somewhere else. And then of course, track leap motion. If you have a leap motion, then you can turn that on. And yeah, that's pretty much it for VSeeFace. It's a very simple program. There isn't a lot to it, but in my opinion, it worked a lot better than 310. Hey everyone! Thanks for watching. This video took a long time to make, literally months, due to school and audio issues, but nevertheless, here it is. If you like this video, don't forget to bang that like button and subscribe. I will have another video coming out next week, and I'll probably tease it on Twitter. So if you want, you can follow me at Anime Bunny. It's 18+, by the way. I also have a Twitch. I haven't been able to stream recently due to internet issues in my area, but I'm hoping that it's fixed this week. I just hit affiliate, and so next stream will be a big happy celebration. You can find me at twitch.tv/animaker. Lastly, if you have any questions, since both programs have changed since I first started recording, you can leave them in the comments below, DM me on Twitter, or ask me in a stream. Thank you.